All right, parents, here we are. We have made it to another week. I think things are going good from my end, but once again, I always welcome feedback from you guys. Let me know if there's any way that I can help out or change something, or if you have questions, let me know too. I also want to remind parents that I'm also available to meet through Zoom or a phone call if you would ever need it. Even if your child just wants to visit with me, awesome. We can definitely set that up. I would be glad to do that. So just remember that that is an option. And then the other thing I want to remind you guys is remember to comment on the dojo post here. It can be just a quick got it, thank you, seen it. It doesn't have to be a long post, just proof that I actually know that you have seen it. You can't just like the post, you actually have to put a comment on there. All right, so let's get into the activities for this week. So our letter this week would be letter Y. So on Monday, the first activity is to work on capital Y. So first off, you can follow this link to watch a letter Y song, and the kids can sing along to it. And then you can follow this link to watch my video showing how to write capital Y. Then use some of that lined paper. And the first line can be, parents, you use a highlighter or even a marker is fine to write a full line of capital Y's, and they can write on top of yours. And then the next line, they can form their own capital Y's, and you can show them which one was your favorite. The next activity is erase the numbers. So you can use that dry erase marker that was in the packets that you guys picked up from school last week, and find a window. And I would just write multiple numbers on the window. And then you will tell your child which number to erase. For example, you might say number 5. They will find number 5 and erase it. And you guys can make this, geared to your child. Like Kinsley, we are really working on 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once we get those, then we're going to work up into those teens. So when I do this with Kinsley, I'm going to probably write lots of 6s, lots of 7s, lots of 8s, lots of 9s, and work specifically on those numbers. If your kids are confident with the 0 through 10, work up to the teens. If they're confident with the teens, use 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, things like that. I am also going to be working this week to send you guys out some challenge activities that are specific to your child's needs from, where they were at when we were last in the classroom. So be looking for that this week. All right, the next activity is a number and letter sort. So I would just take some paper. It can be, the back of the used lined paper that you have, and write A through Z. Just you can use the whole paper to do A through Z, and I usually would do the capital with the lowercase, and then work on cutting them out. So they can just be in a little square. A would have their own square, B would have their own square, cut it out. And then write numbers 0 through 20 and cut them out as well. Then place all the numbers and letters into a pile and mix them up, and then let your child sort out the letters from the numbers. You can also remind them that letters make sounds, and that's what make words. And then numbers, they don't make sounds. That's what we use to count with. Because it's really, sometimes they can get letters and numbers confused. So you really want to work on them being able to tell the difference between a letter and a number. Also, as they're sorting them, they can put the letters in order, A to Z, and the numbers in order 0 through 20. And then on to Tuesday. First activity for Tuesday is painting letter Y. So you can get out those watercolors that were in your packet. Start by working with just Y first. Make sure they're correctly making capital Y a few times and correctly making lowercase y for a few times. If that's kind of a struggle, then just work with Y. Help them along. Sometimes if you hold their hand and do it with them, that helps out as well. But make sure they're confident with Y. After that, you can move on to other letters. What I would do is I just get the letter cards out, pick a card from the pile, and have them indicate that letter, and then work on forming the capital and lowercase version of that letter. Next activity is spaghetti numbers. So this is kind of a fun thing. Me and Kinsley did this last week and she really, really liked it. Cook some spaghetti noodles. I didn't cook very many. Maybe it just takes even, 20, 30 noodles. I added in some food coloring while they were boiling to make it colored. And you'll grab out your number cards to use with this activity. Just choose a number and have them form the noodles. Really, you would only need 0 through 9, because the rest of the numbers all use those numbers. Here's a link to show you how to form those numbers correctly. Really make sure that they're forming them the right way. And, so building them the right way. Me and Kinsley, when we did this, we just sat on the floor with it, and we have hardwood floors, so she just laid the noodles out on the floor as we built those numbers, and then I just cleaned up the floor really good after we were done. All right, and the next activity for Tuesday is, what is a sanitation worker? So ask your child if they know who takes care of our trash after it leaves our house or after it leaves buildings. They might say it's a trash man, but you can also introduce them to the word sanitation worker. That's the proper name for a trash man. Here you can watch a video about a sanitation worker. After the video is done, ask your child these 3 questions. Ask them if they would like to be a sanitation worker, and then ask them why or why not. Ask them what they think is the hardest part about being a sanitation worker. And then ask them what we would do and what our world would look like if we didn't have sanitation workers. And just kind of drive home that a sanitation worker is a very important job in our community because just like I said, think of what our world would look like if we didn't have them. All right, Wednesday is kind of cut off between the 2 pages here. We are going to work with lowercase y. So first off, you can follow this link to a little lowercase or a letter Y song. And then you can follow this link on how to form lowercase y. And I did forget to do a shout out in the video. I had it all laid out and I totally forgot. But Dylan, Emmett, Freya, Kinsley, Riker, and Stanley, you guys all have lowercase y in your name. So work extra hard on this letter. Sometimes lowercase y can be a hard one to form. So parents, just work with your child on trying their best to form lowercase y the right way. Like I said last week, your child might know what lowercase y looks like. They can identify it, but they really need to try to form it the right way. The next activity is you're going to create a little game, and this game is definitely a classroom favorite. It's called Kaboom. So you are going to use the popsicle sticks from the packet from last week. And you are going to write A through Z on the sticks, and each letter is going to get its own stick. So I would just take a popsicle stick and take a marker, permanent marker is what I used, and on the end, write, like for example, A, I'd write capital A and lowercase a. Then I'd grab another stick and I'd write capital B, lowercase b, A through Z on the sticks. And then you're going to have some sticks left over, and you're going to write the word kaboom on the stick. And then what you'll do is you'll place those sticks in a cup. Your child will draw out one stick at a time, and they can indicate what letter it is and what sound it makes. And then if they draw a stick that says kaboom, they'll shout kaboom, and they can stand up and jump 5 times. The next activity is a number egg hunt. So if this does not sound clear, just let me know and I can explain it better to you. This is just kind of an activity I've made up. Take some paper and draw 10 eggs and cut out the 10 eggs. Then you're going to decorate the numbers or decorate the eggs using numbers 0 through 9. You will have, a 0 egg, a 1 egg, a 2 egg, so on and so forth. And so my main goal for this activity is working on writing numbers. So on your number 2 egg, I would work with your child, see how many times you can write the number 2 on that egg and make it fun. You can use markers, you could use the watercolors. Just fill that egg up with that number. So then that would be clearly the number 2 egg. And then after you guys write, so you guys are going to be working on writing 0 through 9. After you guys, have those eggs filled up with those numbers, then you could hide them around the house and see if you could try to find them in order. So first try to find the 0 egg, then try to find the 1 egg, so on and so forth. But the main goal out of this activity is having them work on writing those numbers the right way. And, earlier there in the in the plans here. Here's the correct number formation. Okay, so that's Wednesday. Now on to Thursday. They can do a letter egg hunt. So if we were in our classroom this week, we would definitely be doing this on Thursday. I'm so sad to be missing out on this. So if you have plastic eggs, awesome. If not, you can just use some paper and create some eggs. So I usually take the eggs apart. So if you have the plastic eggs, take the tops and put them in a pile, take the bottoms and put them in a pile. If you're using paper, just get the paper in half and have a top and a bottom part of the egg. I usually write capital A through Z on the tops of the eggs and then lowercase a through Z on the bottoms of the eggs, and then hide the separated eggs. And I usually hide them fairly easy so this activity doesn't take very long. What they'll do is they'll try to match up the capital with the lowercase, and when they do find it, they can connect it. So if they find capital A and lowercase a, they can connect it and put in their little basket. And that's that activity. And then the next activity for Thursday is egg pattern. So once again, use those plastic eggs or the paper eggs, and you're going to create some patterns. So I would first start off with having your child create some patterns. And they might start off with, if they need a reminder, remember that a pattern always repeats. They might start off with an easy one. Maybe they do purple, yellow, purple, yellow, purple, yellow. You can encourage them to try to make a trickier pattern. Maybe they do blue, blue, green, blue, blue, green. After they have made a few patterns, then parents, you can make a pattern and make a little game out of it. So you make a pattern, and then I would take a cup and put it over one of the eggs. And then your child can, examine the pattern and try to guess which color of egg is under that cup. That's always a fun game that we like to play in our classroom as well. The last activity for Thursday is recycle microphone. So this week, if you empty out a paper towel or a toilet paper roll, save it. You just need one. And show it to your child and say, hey, how could we reuse this instead of throwing it away? Let them think of some ideas. They might throw some different ideas out there than making a microphone, and that's okay. But after you guys have come up with some ideas, show them that if they talk into the roll, it kind of sounds like a microphone. So let them know that we're going to be creating a microphone. So get some crayons out, get some stickers if you have it, get some markers out, and let them create their own microphone to sing in. After they create their microphone, you can follow this link to sing a little recycling song into your microphone. And then just some other ideas for the week to try if you have time. Oh, geez, So the first one is a backyard scavenger hunt. It looks like we're going to have some nice days this week. Here's just one little example of a backyard scavenger hunt you could do. I just Googled backyard scavenger hunt, and this is one of the pictures that came up. So if you don't like this one, you can definitely find another one. I also had an email this week about this app. It's called the Ignite app. And this app was designed with the GOLD assessment tool in mind. So GOLD is the assessment tool that we use in preschool. So I did try it out with Kinsley. It's okay. She liked it. You might just want to try it. In your app store, you can just search for Ignite. And it looks like a little egg rocket ship. But you'll need to follow this link and set up an account online before you use the app. If you use this code capital MHU 2020, it'll let you in for free, and then you'll just create an account for your child, and then they can use the app. So just an idea to try. And another thing to try is try coloring eggs in a new way. So if we were at school this week, we would be coloring eggs using shaving cream and food coloring, just because it allows more of a hand-on experience. So here's the directions for that. I've also seen like wrapping an egg up in a paper towel and adding food coloring. But maybe just try it in a new way. I know, this coming weekend we'll be coloring eggs here at our house too. So that's fun stuff. Just a reminder, our letter of the week is Y. Here's all the letters we learned, and here's our upcoming letters. Also be looking for a message this week that I'm going to send you that's going to give some activities that might challenge your child specifically, just so we can make sure we're meeting those goals to have them ready for kindergarten next year. Thank you.